Welcome to the BuildFire workshop, where we learn how to build new features on the BuildFire platform. Today we're going to learn about the analytics service and how to best use it in our plugins. Let's dive right in. All right, so today we're going to talk about how to use the BuildFire Analytics, how to link up a particular event or a view into the analytics server so that not only you're keeping track of the analytical points that you want, but as well as visualize it for your end user. So what we're going to do is continue on our task management, the task management plugin that we created. And if you recall from previous episodes, we just have a fixed list of tasks, and every instance of this task, they're able to check that they've completed a task on or off into their widget. And so what we want to do is just keep track of every time a task is marked as complete, so we could see over time how many people are actually marking things as complete, as well as maybe breaking it down on which weekday people tend to mark tasks complete. So what we need to do is start using the BuildFire Analytics framework. So it's buildfire.analytics.trackView. That's if something is a view. So for example, if they opened up the plugin, that's a view. I didn't take it necessarily, I didn't make a manipulation of any of the data. I just viewed something. Now, generally that is good practice. However, since BuildFire already tracks for us the open event for a plugin, there's no need for us to do that as well. We could also track a particular action. And if you could see here, all we have to do is type in buildfire.analytics.trackAction, give it the event name of what happened, in this case, task completed, any metadata that we want, and that's pretty much it. That's all we need to do is something like this. Now, there's something called aggregation value, and that's if we're doing, so any analytical point is a point. It's a single point. But let's say there's a value for how many tasks got completed. So you could put that in an aggregation value of 3 tasks were completed, 5 tasks were completed. And what it'll do is it'll also illustrate it to you. So these are data points. However, if you use aggregation, you'll see the daily average, sum, minimum, and maximum as well. So for that regard, you can use a little bit more advanced analytics. For now, let's just see how we can actually just put a data point to say we tracked that a task was completed. Now, if we do this, it will work, it will save all the data, but it won't be available for the end user in the control panel for them to view any of these analytics unless we register the analytic. Now, sometimes you want to be able to track certain data points through the BuildFire Analytics system that will be passed along through segment integration. So it's just meant to be in the background. You really don't want your users to interact with this. On other cases, you do want your users to know. So this is one of those cases where we do. And so going back to this particular plugin, we basically want to register that that we have a new analytical point. That's what then exposes it in the control panel for them to see. So what we're going to do here is go into the control side and create a new function. I already have it created. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the best way to write code. However, we're trying to keep it as simple as possible so that we explain to you more of the framework and not necessarily dealing with the best practices of how to modularize your code and so on. So we just created a function called register events. And so all your events in the control panel, in the content side, when it loads, we'll just do buildfire.analytics.register an event. And we give it a title called task completed, the key task underscore completed. This is just to give it a unique value so that we can track using that unique value. And a description occurs when a user marks a task as complete. Silent notification will show you when it actually registers. There's a little notification that pops up that lets the app owner know that a new event has been registered, it sort of grabs their attention. So if they're unaware of that, they can go and check it out. And then right here, all we're going to do is actually call this function at the very beginning. It is best if you don't register the event over and over again. However, the system is smart enough to say if you've registered this event and you register it again, it'll just ignore it. So for our purposes here, just for simplicity, we're just going to register it every time the control loads. The other side of it is now that we've registered it and now it's going to be visible for our app owner, we want to go over to the widget side and take a look at the index.html. And if you recall, we load all the tasks, render the completed tasks that we have, and basically we have a little UI function here that renders the UI. But there is a add task to list. So the add task to list is basically adds an li to our UL unsorted list, and this element here basically creates every single one of these LIs. And on the click event, it checks if it's completed. If it's not completed and you click on it, it becomes completed. If it is completed, click on it again, it becomes unchecked. So right now, we don't want to deal with all the variations of unchecking and checking. Right now, if they just mark it as complete, let's just go ahead and add that to the analytics piece. So let's look at the code here. If li.class contains completed, again, not the best way to write code, but this is just the way we've been doing it so far, is if it has a class called completed, then go ahead and remove the completed and save the profile. If it doesn't, then go ahead and add it to completed and push it to your completed tasks. This is where we actually want to start keeping track that a task was completed. So what we'll do here is type in BuildFire.Analytics, and if you have IntelliSense set up, that really helps a lot. And we've already registered the event on the control side. What we want to do is track action. Now, when we track an action, again, this wasn't a view. We actually did something. We tracked something. It says, okay, so what is the action name that you did? So let's go back here. We called it task completed. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste that in. And then it'll say, so what is the data that you want, the metadata you want to pass along? Now, we can pass along nothing, and it's just a data point, and it'll work just fine. Or if we want aggregation, then we can pass along an object under the namespace underscore BuildFire, and then we can deal with, for example, the number of tasks completed and so on. But for now, let's just keep it extremely simple. Whenever it's checked, it'll now mark it as complete. So if we save our code, refresh here, everything will continue to work just fine. So what we want to do is to see the analytics. Currently in the plugin tester, we don't have the ability for you to view the analytics since it's not meant to keep track of all your analytics within the tester. What we're going to do is bundle this up and send it off to the control panel so I can illustrate this to you. So we have another video of where we explain how to bundle up and publish your plugin manually using the developer portal, and another video that shows you how to publish your plugin using the command line. So let's just open up. So we navigated to our plugins folder in our BuildFire SDK, found my plugin. I'm going to go ahead and compress this. Now, generally speaking, if you're using GitHub, you want to make sure that you're not compressing the .git folder because it'll just be very large when you upload it. But let's go here to the developer portal, and I'm already logged in. Go to Plugin Manager, and so I already have the Simple Task Manager demo here, and the reason why I know that is the correct one. If I go here to Plugin JSON, Simple Task Manager demo, so I'm going to update this. Is it backwards compatible? Yes. Did I add any new features? No. We're going to go ahead and just push this out to production and not a QA version. So now that we've navigated to our plugins folder, I'm going to grab that zip file and open it. And so it's going to upload that. And from our previous episode, we've loaded it into the Daniel test app. So now that we're back on the control panel side and we've updated the plugin, I'm going to go ahead and add another instance of the Simple Task Manager here. So I'm going to say add, and we're going to say analytics test, and I'm going to add that in. And so immediately, if you remember, we said about the notifications being silent or not, we could silence that. If you have 5, 6, 10 different notifications, it may be a little bit too aggressive, so you can make them silent, all of them silent or just one. But that basically is this portion here, silent notification false. Had we made that true, it would be silent and you wouldn't see it. So let's go ahead and add some. Now this is just Chrome remembering what I did last. We didn't actually create a drop down there. And what we did here is, upon clicking any one of these tasks, an analytical point went out to our server that's here in analytics. So you could see automatically it tracks open. It's only tracking the ones that are on real devices, so you're not seeing actually open here. And then you see here task completed. Again, that's because we registered here the title task completed. So when we click on that, occurs when a user marks a task as completed or as complete. Again, that's where the description came from. And you can see, since one already came through, it's available. And so you can see the daily breakdown on a 30, 60, 90 day. You can see who the top users are. In this case, it's me. You can see the details of who exactly did it and when and why. So I hope that helps you better understand how to use the BuildFire Analytics, how easy it is to use the BuildFire Analytics, and I hope you add it to all your plugins. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with our latest content. If you do so, you'll also be entered into a raffle where you can win some BuildFire merchandise. Thanks for watching.